Hey everyone, this is Chad here again with another Tech Talk, and I got Damion Jones with me. He's a old personal friend and work colleague that we've been working together for almost 25 years now. One of my first tech jobs, my second tech job actually, and so really looking forward to this Tech Talk. Damion has been an industry leader in the enterprise space with hardware implementations and project management. It's got an awesome company, Blue Pisces. They do some really unique work. And Damion, thanks for doing this and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, I'm honored to be here, and it's great to catch up with you and have this tech talk.
Yeah. So Blue Pisces, love the name. What do you guys do? What are you trying to solve?
Yeah, definitely. So, we really specialize in Agile Consulting for DevOps and infrastructure teams. We do this providing consulting services, staffing solutions, and managed services for some companies. In the end, we're really problem solvers.
Mm-hmm. Problem solvers. So problem solving. You say you're problem solvers. What problems are you trying to solve, Damion?
Yeah, I have a good friend and former business partner of mine by the name of Wayne Glaus that always said no matter where he went, he was always solving the same four problems. And as humorous as I found that, there was actually a lot of truth in that. Because if you look at it, there's really four main areas that I think all these problems boil down to: strategy, capabilities, execution, and transparency. Strategy: is your DevOps organization aligned to your business? Is your leadership team conveying the right strategic direction that your team can actually follow? Your capabilities: you have the right people to do the job. Is your culture actually empowering your employees to innovate and deliver, or is it restricting them? Blue Pisces, we take a people first versus system first approach, meaning we focus on solving problems through people and process more than we do through technology. Execution: is your project management office making your engineer's job easier or harder? Do you just have way too much to juggle and need help getting something across the finish line? Transparency: are you struggling to represent your DevOps work and the daily challenges you're faced with well within the project management office toolset that you have to use? Does your executive leadership team have any idea just how much time is spent keeping the lights on?
Totally. So, give me some examples. I'd love to hear some examples of how you helped with those four pillars that you're talking about.
Yeah, sure. So, one of them that comes to mind is we worked with a very large company that basically had two engineering teams, but they were responsible to support about 30 different development teams. So as a result, they're constantly juggling priorities, they're getting pulled in all kind of directions, and they still have to keep the lights on with the day-to-day operational activities, right? So from a strategic perspective, we work with leadership to kind of map their vision and where their priorities were to the deliverables that the engineers really needed to focus on. We met with them quarterly to ensure that as priorities shifted or new priorities arose, we could work with engineering to pivot and make sure we were focused on supporting the right things, right? From a capabilities perspective, we saw big gaps in the project management office. Specifically, they just didn't have enough project managers, and certainly project managers that understood this space to be able to help deliver those key projects. Blue Pisces, we filled those gaps by staffing the right people, and we're able to help them deliver some of those critical projects. On the execution front, we work with the same project management office to implement PI planning, or program increment planning, which is basically a quarterly planning process. Or think of like roadmap planning for the quarter, right? We were able to improve the way that we estimated effort and track the unplanned work, the chaos that occurred every day much more efficiently. And as a result, we were able to start to trend that data, embrace the chaos, and just understand that the chaos monkey was going to run around, and be able to plan for the unknown essentially. And that was huge. And finally, on a transparency perspective, as a result of all of those things, we were able to start to accurately represent what the team was working on, where the challenges existed, where we needed areas for improvement. We had some nice dashboards that the leadership team could review to see things in more of a real-time type of state. And then it was important that we met with that leadership team following every sprint or every 2 weeks to review that. What did the team accomplish? Where are the challenges or the risks? And where do we need their support and their help? Right? The reason that we're able to do all of that, we really understand this space. We understand the frameworks like the Agile and Kanban. We understand what it's like to be an engineer because we've been engineers.
Right.
And we also understand there's this vital component that the project management office and executive leadership team needs to understand the portfolio of projects and what's really going on with the team so that they can make informed decisions around those kind of things.
That's great. I mean, you're talking some enterprise level companies that have thousands and thousands of employees, and you're talking about these companies have massive data centers and like engineering teams, and you're able to apply your methodology and your strategy on all that. Awesome. Check box on the enterprise level. You guys also work with the small business, small, medium-sized business markets too. So tell me, how do those large pillars, large methodologies translate into the small business market?
That's a great question. So, I would say with a smaller company or a startup type of company, oftentimes when they come to us, they don't really know what they don't know, right? They're coming to us with a solution that they want to implement, not with the problem that they're trying to solve. And being problem solvers, we look at what's being asked and we want to understand that, but we really want to understand their environment, their challenges, their business culture. So we dig deeper and we try to figure out what the real problem is, and then in turn try to solve that. So a great example, a small kind of startup company came to us and said, hey, we need a project manager to help support our business. We talked to them, we started to kind of look at what their business processes were, analyze kind of what was going on. And what we realized was they didn't need a project manager. They needed a strong, versatile manager. Basically the CEO needed someone like second in command, right? Someone that could help with business development, marketing, driving engagements with customers, and delivering on some project. But that project management piece was really a small sliver of what was really being asked. So we identified that real problem, put the right person in there, and as a result, that company really accelerated, and we have a great relationship with them.
That's awesome. So what does an engagement look like with you guys? What are the things that are most important for you with working with your customers?
Yeah, I'd say it starts with, trust and honesty. Our integrity is core to everything we do. We really want to collaborate with our clients. We want to figure out what the problems are and help them solve that. In order to do that effectively, we're not afraid to recommend a solution that's not in our best interest, right? It's not about just making a dollar, right? So we prioritize that relationship and that customer success really above all other things. Secondly, we're really not trying to fix something that's not broken. We're not religious about specific tools or specific processes. If a company has a tool that's working for them, great, we'll use that. So we're really trying to look at what's best for, the company, the culture, your budget, all of these variables. And finally, we really want to understand that. We want to understand your environment. We want to understand your culture. We're usually brought into an engagement kind of from a leadership capacity. So we certainly want to understand their vision and their challenges as they see it. But at the end, we're really going to get started by at the crown level. We want to put ourselves in the engineer's shoes. We want to understand what their challenges are, where their frustrations lie, what they're really experiencing. We find that when we do that, we really uncover the problems that maybe the leadership team didn't even know existed. We resolve those, and in turn, we end up solving what they were really after, but we got to the root of the problem and did that. In the end, when you work with us, we really kind of approach things very similarly. We take this holistic approach and we look at those same 4 problem areas, right? We're going to look at strategy, we're going to look at capabilities, execution, transparency, and through that lens, figure out the best path forward for you.
There is most of the time there is a big disconnect between what the engineering guys are doing, the technicians, what they're doing, what they have to do, what they've been tasked to do, future projects that they need to look at, the on day-to-day operations piece, and then that information flow to the leadership team making the decisions. And I experience that. We experience that all the time. That disconnect, and it kills the progress of an organization all the time. So
absolutely, I think it's a lot of they don't necessarily understand their world to begin with. And then oftentimes where I think the project management piece comes in that kind of breaks down is that it's also not well representing their world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of keeping the lights on and keeping things running is often a separate system. And so all they're looking at is the projects, and you guys aren't getting projects done. It's like, well, you spend 75% of your time keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where bridging that gap is critical.
Well, and you mentioned, the leadership of the company doesn't understand what the engineering is going through, and vice versa, right? The engineering, it's funny talking in the engineering circles. A lot of times they get so frustrated with the leadership team. Well, the engineering team has no idea what the leadership team is up against, right? And vice versa. So able to bridge that gap is just so huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You also mentioned having staffing solutions. Staffing. There's tons of staffing companies all over the place, right? So, what makes you different than the multitude of other staffing companies?
Yeah, great question. So, we really understand this space. We've been in these roles. We've spent years working with, various companies in all kind of different industries. And so as a result, we're really able to assess candidates far better than most organizations. The end result is it's quality over quantity. I know it sounds cliche, but our team is extremely effective of recruiting very skilled project managers and engineers because we understand the type of work that they manage and the work that they're doing, right? So we really differentiate ourselves too because we want to understand your company's culture and the values that are most important to you. And we get very focused then. We focus in on that project management for DevOps and infrastructure, which is a very unique thing that we're focused on.
It's great. Well, thanks a lot, Damion. Anything else you want to say, or does this wrap it up?
No, I think it wraps it up. I would just end with, when you think of Blue Pisces, think of us as problem solvers. If you're a DevOps infrastructure type company or team and you're having challenges managing that workload, or you're feeling that friction between the demand for your team versus your team's ability to get your work done, or having that gap between leadership and where your engineering team is, go check us out. Go to bluepisces.com, click on Get Started. We'd love to talk to you and try to help solve your problem.
All right. Thanks, Damion. Appreciate the time.
Yes, thank you as well. Great talking to you.
See you later.